video is an explanation of the answers to the practice test for topic 8, linear functions. So number 1, I see that the slope is positive, but that doesn't help me eliminate any of these because the slopes are all positive. I see right here is my y-intercept, and that's at -5, so that means that A and B are not correct. So now I have to decide if the slope is 2/3 or if it's 3/2. So I have my point on my y-intercept, and I have another point right there. So I can see that I go up 2 and right 3, up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. So the correct answer is up 2/3. The correct answer is C. For number 2, it says to place an order online from a t-shirt company, you have to pay $10 for each shirt. So the keyword each means that's the slope. And $7 shipping fee. So you have to pay that as your y-intercept. Even if you don't theoretically buy any shirts, you would still pay the shipping fee, even though you really wouldn't. But the slope is 10 and the y-intercept is 7. Here's the slope of 10 and the y-intercept of 7. So D is the correct answer. For number 3, I am looking for all linear function rules. So as long as it doesn't have an exponent, or the variable's not on the bottom, or it doesn't have a funky sign like absolute values, or in this case, here is a square root sign, that is not linear. So F, E, D, because the variable's up top. C is not because of the exponent. B is, it looks funny, but there are no weird symbols like square roots or absolute values. There's no exponents, so that could be simplified into a slope-intercept form. And A is not because the variable's on the bottom. So those are all the correct answers for number 3. In section 8.2, we want to find the rate of change for this graph. I can see there's a point there, and it's kind of hard to see, but as long as I follow along the line, I can identify there are some points that are easily graphed. So what I do is I go up 1 and right 5 for each of those points that I pointed out, up 1 and right 5, so the slope is 1/5. For number 5, my y-intercept is here, and I'm going down. I want to find a good spot. So there's one. There's one. Let's see. There's one. And there's one. So you can see that I go down 3 and right 2 each time. Down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2, down 3, right 2. So -3/2 is the correct answer for that one. For number 6, we want to find the rate of change in the table. So I'm going to find the change in y's, which is down 3, down 3, down 3. And the change in x's is going up 2, up 2, up 2. So my rate of change is change in y over change in x. So that's -3/2. For number 7, I'm going up 2, up 1, up 4. And for the x's, I'm going up 4, up 2, and up 8. So if I do the change in y's over the change in x's, it's going to be 2/4, 1/2, and 4/8. And all of those simplify to 1/2. So that is my slope, or rate of change, for that problem. For section 8.3, the initial value is what is being asked. So what I'm going to look for is when the when the x value is 0, what's the y value? So that's the question. So here I see that the x value is 0, so my y value is 18, so 18 is the initial value. For number 9, the linear function models the amount of money Elena has after hours of babysitting. What is the initial value? It's $10. And that means that Elena had $10 at the beginning of her babysitting jobs. So you may need to pause the video to write that down. I'm going to go ahead and move on. Number 10, what is the initial value of this function? Remember, initial value is the constant. It does not have the variable with it. So the initial value is 5 in this one. It is not the 8. 8 is the rate of change. In number 11, there are 12 books on Mrs. Baker's bookshelf, and she adds three books to the shelf every month. Keyword every means that 3 is the slope, but this one is asking for initial value. So how many did she start with? She started with 12 books. So that's the initial value. For section 8.4, which linear function has a greater rate of change? So rate of change is the slope. So the slope in this problem is 6. So I'm going to say the rate of change is 6. On the test, I will ask you what the rate of change for each one is. So you're going to have to write it on the test. You might as well write it on here too. The rate of change for the table, here I am going up 5, and I'm going up 1 here, up 5, up 1, up 5, and up 1. So the rate of change for the table is 5 over 1, which is 5. So which linear function has a greater rate of change? The answer is A. A has a greater rate of change. For number 13, it says state the initial values and then which one has a greater initial value. So the initial value of A is the y-intercept, which is -4 because that does not have the variable with it. So the initial value for that one is -4. And for the table, again, this does not have an initial value in it. We need the initial value to be when x equals 0. So we have to kind of go backwards. So here I have 1, 1, 1, 1. So here, from going from 1 to 3, I would go up 2. Going from -1 to 1, I would go up 2. From -3 to -1, I go up 2. So what would this be to go up 2 to get -3? And the answer is -5. So the y-intercept here, or the initial value, is -5. And which one is greater? Greater being bigger, -4 is bigger than -5. So the answer is A. In section 8.5, we have the problem where there's a water tank and it has a leak in it. So we don't know how much is in the water tank to begin with, but we do know that after 5 hours, so hours is our x, and amount of water in the tank is our y. After 5 hours, there are 6.2 gallons of water. And after 8 hours, there are 3.8 gallons of water. So I want to know what the equation of that line would be. So that goes down 2.4, and this one goes up 3. So the slope, which is step 1 of our writing equations, is -2.4 over 3. which is negative 0.8. Step 2, I'm going to write the equation y equals mx plus b, and I'm going to plug in my x and y. So I'm going to choose an x and y. I'll choose the first one. I'm going to plug 5 in for the x and 6.2 in for the y, and then I'm going to plug this negative 0.8 in for the m. So it's negative 0.8 times 5 plus b. Step 3 is to solve for b. So we're going to draw our line. We have 6.2 is equal to, and then I would type into my calculator negative 0.8 times 5, which is negative 4, plus b. So to get b by itself, I add 4 to both sides, and I get 10.2. So what that means is that the water in the tank to begin with was 10.2 gallons, and it goes down 0.8 gallons every hour. So my equation, which is the final answer, is y equals negative 0.8x plus 10.2. That's a 10 there. 10.2. That's my final answer. And the last problem. To get a gym membership, you have to pay an initial fee of $75, and then you pay $35 each month. So we're looking at that keyword each. That tells us 35 is the slope, or the rate of change. So I have y equals mx plus b. My rate of change is 35, so that's the m, which means the initial fee, or the initial value, is 75. So my answer is y equals 35x plus 75. And that's enough to get you going for your test. Good luck.